Welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be finding the measures of central tendency and variation in Excel using the built-in functions that comes with Excel. For this example, I've already entered the data that I'm going to be using for the demonstration. Also, I've entered the label for each of the measure that we're going to be finding today. In Excel, in order to find any function, there are different ways to get to that function. Now, just to let you know that most functions in Excel, they have the same name as what they do. So if I'm looking for the median, there is a function called median. If I know the name of the function, I can just type it. However, if I just type median, then it's going to take it as a text, as a label, and it's not going to give me anything. Every function or formula in Excel has to start with the equal sign. So the minute you enter the equal sign, Excel knows that you're entering a formula or a function. So if I know the name of the function and I know that it should be called median, I will type M. And the minute I do that, it's going to give you a list of all the functions that start with M. And for each function, it tells you a description of what does it do, what does it return. So if I type E, and you will see that there's only one function starts with ME, and that's the median. So I will double click on the function. It's very important. You don't press enter, otherwise it's going to take me as the function, and there is no me, so it's going to give you an error. Double click on the function, and you will see that you get the function median, and it tells you the argument it should receive. So I'm going to go and select the cells A1 to A26 and press enter. And you will see that the function gives me the median right away. Same idea, I can come over here and say I want the maximum. So I expect the function to have the word max. There it is. Returns the largest value and a set of values. Double click, and instead of going and selecting the cells, I'm going to enter the cells manually. A2 column, which is the first cell, A26, which is the last cell. So I selected the whole range from A2 to A26. Press enter, and you will get 60. The other way of finding the functions would be to go to the Home tab, Autosum, and click on the arrow over here. Now here it's going to show you the 5 most used functions in Excel. So sum, average, count, maximum, and minimum. I need the minimum. The minute you click on it, Excel will detect where do you have numerical value beside this cell. It looks on the left. If it says a label, it skips it. It looks up, down, right. Then it detects that cells and it chooses them. So since I have only one numerical value here, Excel detects it and puts it. But if I have more on top, it's going to detect all this numerical value. It takes them as the range for your data. That's not what we want, so you're going to go and select again A2 to A26 and press enter, and it's going to give me the minimum. Now, what if I don't want the max and the minimum? What if I want the second largest, or the third largest, or the second smallest? Here we have two functions. One is called large, one is called small. Let's look at this function from the function argument. So I'm going to go over here, and I don't have any of these functions here, but I have what's called more functions. Once you click on that, it's going to bring the insert function window. You can search for the function, or Excel displays the most recently used functions. If you click on the arrow beside category, you will see that you have lots of categories. Math, engineering, etc. We want the stats. So we're going to select this, and here it's going to display all the functions that are related to statistics. So I'm looking for the large function. I'm going to type L, and it's going to take me right away to the large function. And here it gives you a description of what it does as well. tells you that this returns the kth largest value in a data set. For example, the 5th largest number. I'm going to select it. It's going to ask me for the array. I'm going to go and select the array. And the k value. The k value is the position, which one you want. So here I want the 3rd largest. I'm going to type 3, and you see that it gives you right away the answer. I'm going to click OK, and this is the 3rd largest value in my data set. Similarly, we have a small function that I'm going to use right away instead of going to the insert function windows, and it's going to give you here the same description. It returns the case smallest. So I'm going to double click on the function, enter my array, and says I want the 4th smallest. Press enter, and this is the 4th smallest function value. Now, strangely enough, there is no range function in Excel, but we know that the range is what? So I'm going to enter it as a formula. It's the maximum minus the minimum. Press enter, and here is the values. Still didn't find the mean, variance, or standard deviation. The mean is one of the only functions in Excel that doesn't have the same name, but we know that another word for mean is average. So if I type average, you will see that there is average function, and it tells you that it returns the average, which is the arithmetic mean. Double click on it, enter the range, and this is the mean. For the variance and standard deviation, we know that the formula for variance standard deviation differ if it's population or a sample. So for the variance, once I type VAR, it's going to give me the variance function, and you can see that we have two of them. One.p, which is the population, and one.s, which is the sample function. Now, in the old Excel 2007 and before, the variance function was called var for the sample and var_p for the population. Any function that you see beside it or on top of it in the yellow warning sign, that means it's an older function of Excel. You can still use it, but some function they are programmed differently now with the new Excel. So since this is a sample, I'm going to choose the variance.s, select my values, and this is the variance as a sample. For the standard deviation, it's the same idea, std for standard deviation, and you will see that you have the population and sample. So I'm going to go ahead, select the sample, and this is the standard deviation. We also know that the standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So let's try that. Let's type sqrt for square root. This is the square root function. And I'm going to select the variance. By taking the square root of the variance, I should get the standard deviation. And here we go. The last function is the mode function. I left it to the end because we have two mode functions in Excel. This is the mode function in the old Excel 2007 and before, which returns only one mode. Depending on how many modes you have, it will return only one mode, the first one it encountered. With the newer Excel, we have two functions. One returns the single mode, one returns the multiple mode. The multiple one returns the answer as a vertical array. So we're going to treat it differently, and we're going to look at it differently. I'm going to select the mode.single. And when I type the range, you will see that it will return the first mode it encounters, which is 22. So you leave it repeated 3 times. But is it the only mode? We don't know. That's why we're going to go and check the mode.multiple. Now this function, as I said, has to be treated in a different way because it returns a vertical array, which means a vertical set of value. So if I use it in a single cell and I select this, it's going to return the same value because it's going to work as a single mode. Now, does that mean it didn't return the others? It did, but there was no place to put them because I picked only one cell. So for a function like that, we're going to create what we call an array formula. Array formula is done by selecting multiple cells. I don't know how many value to return, so I will select 6 or 7. And I will type the function now and type the range. And this is very important. You do not press enter. If you press enter, it's going to be the single mode again. What do we have to do is press Control, Shift, and enter. Control, Shift, enter. And you will see that it fills the whole cells, the vertical cells, with the modes that are in the data set. Since we have only 3 modes in this data set, it will fill the remaining cell with an A. But at least now I know that I have 3 modes in this data set, 22, 44, and 19. All 3 of them occur 3 times in the data set. This is how we find most of the measure of central tendency and dispersion using the built-in function. In another video, I will show you how to find that using the descriptive analysis, descriptive statistics, and data analysis add-in. Thank you for watching.